Come on,
when you played.
We are joined by an absolute legend.
Oh, have you got an hour? I could talk an hour about Man City.
He's a role model to everybody in the academy. The amount of time he spends speaking to the younger players is incredible.
Wingers get the ball in attack, direct. We hate to play against them differently.
There is another brother partnership in town.
He coming from where he's coming from, his family, he's used to this kind of stuff.
As a whole older brother, you always tend to worry more.
Your younger brother did alright. He did okay. He did okay.
Remember Didier, big personality, loves scoring goals.
Julian said this would have been the game for Erling Haaland to do his Didier Drogba celebration.
Oh, what a game! Just can't catch my breath. It's like a throwback game. It was so exciting.
Doing that on that moment against that team, you know, the champion this is big character.
Oh, we have had some tasty games against Liverpool.
Even when Liverpool weren't competing for the title recently, it was always a massive game.
So this could be the start of some incredible games between those teams.
Welcome to the Etihad, and it's the big one. Manchester City host Liverpool in a battle between the Premier League's top two sides.
De Bruyne, Aguero! In a flash! He only needs a glimpse.
Looking to take on Roebuck to the edge of the area. Sané lines up a shot! It is 5!
Jovetic!
Massive position. Haaland scores!
Straightforward finish for Edin Dzeko.
Kevin De Bruyne. Manchester City score. And the header has been turned in by Tevez.
And left a vacant goal from a near impossible angle.
Gunners made a miraculous clearance on the goal line. Goes for goal and finds it. Magnificently.
Thumping header from Yaya Toure.
For Sapa. City have done it.
Alvaro Negredo! It's in! It's a red card.
Looking up for the right pass. Grealish. Magnificent.
The biggest rival opponent I had in my career is Liverpool.
Welcome to Matchday Live. Big games attract big names. We've got YouTubers, actual YouTubers, not like me. We've got a book writer, we've got Man City legends, and we've got fan legends, and of course, we've got Kel in the studio. But first, let's head over to Els, who is around, and I will see you at some point pitchside during Matchday Live.
Well, I am joined by some very special guests from Etihad Airways who are celebrating their 20th birthday this month. They're giving away a big prize during today's match. Can I take a peek? They're being very secretive, but instead, can I get a score prediction for the match today?
I'm thinking 4-2 to Man City. I'm going to say 3-1 to Manchester City.
3-1 to Man City. We don't know what the prize is, but we do know we're getting 3 points today.
Thank you, FG, thank you, Els, and thank you to you, beautiful people, Manchester City fans around the world. A very good afternoon. Welcome along to Matchday Live with me, Kel Spellman. Here we are at the Etihad Stadium for a big game as we take on Liverpool in the Premier League. Here to get into all of the build-up is none other than City fan legend Big Steve, and next to me as well, Mr. Charlie Adam making his Matchday Live debut. Charlie, it's an absolute treat to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. Of course, played for Liverpool. Big old game today. How can you see it playing out?
Well, as a former Liverpool player, I'm coming to the Etihad with a lot of nervous Man City fans. I don't know why, but there seems to be a wee bit of nervousness about you for some reason. You know, you are the best team in Europe. You've just won the treble. You're top of the league. You've got some of the best players in the world. There's nothing to be nervous about. Liverpool are in town. They're a good side. But I think it's going to be a cracker. I think the two teams are top level, and I hope that there's plenty of goals. A lot of goals last year in the game here, so hopefully they will be here again today.
They will. I mean, to be honest with you, Charlie, that's the energy I need in this studio week in and week out. There's always nerves with City fans, as you know, Steve. And talking of goals, have you come and recovered from that big game, obviously, beforehand? Chelsea, Stamford Bridge, 4-4, unbelievable.
Unbelievable game. Charlie doesn't know the typical City, does he? We say it round here, it's typical City. We can be playing anyone, and we're nervous. We always are. But no, the Chelsea game was unbelievable. I was there at Stamford Bridge. One of the best games of football I've seen for a long, long time. End-to-end stuff, plenty of goals, plenty of drama. them games are not good for the heart.
No.
I'm hoping today, well, I'm saying that, typical City, I'm hoping for today that, you know, it's less drama free and we can get the job done.
Absolutely. As FG mentioned at the top of the show, we've got an absolute cracker in store for you today. You can see here the team bus arriving at the Etihad Stadium ahead of our 12:30 kickoff. We're going to be bringing you pitchside interviews from a whole host of different faces, and as well bringing you all the build-up, including team news, and getting some expert insight from our guests throughout the show. Charlie, we know the rivalry, especially between Pep and Klopp over the last 8 years. I think Pep actually said in his pre-match conference yesterday, that's been the team that's pushed us the most. Is this season defining for each one, or do you still think because it's early on, it's probably not as big as maybe some people are making out? What's your take?
No, it's still a big game, isn't it? It's the two teams that have been there and around it for, like you say, the last 8 years. I think what Man City and Pep have brought to the Premier League have been incredible. They've raised the bar. Liverpool have matched them in enough times, in enough seasons. Fell short a couple of times through, you know, Man City's unbelievable brilliance. But again, it's an unbelievable opportunity for Liverpool to come here against the reigning European champions and go and show them, you know, what they're capable of. Because I think they've gone a little bit under the radar this year, Liverpool. I think they've played well in a lot of games. They've won games well, but this is a big test for Liverpool today coming here.
On the other side of that, Steve, you know, obviously I take the point at Stamford Bridge. We know how difficult the return leg of this fixture is going to be. So how important is it that we do try and get those 3 points today?
Yeah, Anfield's not been a good hunting ground for us over the years, we know that, but the Etihad has become a little bit of a fortress for us at the minute. So yeah, we need to get the win today. Coming straight off an international break, straight to the Premier League. One of the biggest games around. We've got to put a marker down, you know what I mean? A few weeks ago, Man City went through a rough patch, allegedly, in people's minds. We bounced back, we went into the international break, top of the league. We're playing an informed Liverpool side today. So yeah, I'm expecting us to get the job done.
Fantastic. And as if by magic, now sat next to me in the studio as well, probably fresh off a flight, I'm usually assuming, it's Mr. David James. Welcome to Matchday Live. Big old game today, and I'm always interested. How are you feeling about the game, of course, with it being City Liverpool?
Well, fortunately, I made it in time. Charlie, Steve, I listened to you two talking there. I mean, because of the way the teams are playing at the moment, I say moment, we just had the international break, it's such a difficult call. Such a difficult call, I think, and the fact that we've got Man City top of the league, Liverpool second, it is the perfect top of the table clash. I don't know. Liverpool have been pretty good recently.
Yeah.
But City at home always score the first goal, won every game. For Liverpool, if they think they've got any chance of titles this season, then they have to get a result here.
Come here and get the result.
City, as Steve said, this is a fortress now.
Yeah.
It's just. I tell you what, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a magnificent game of football.
It is indeed.
I've got all my stats saved in my.
Listen, well, I've got the questions to Brewers to bring them stats to the table. Let's begin then with actually talking about the game before the international break, as we mentioned there. It was about Stamford Bridge, 4-4. The first question for you, David, is when was the last time we conceded 4 goals? Do you know the answer to that?
Leicester 5-2. Jamie Vardy hat-trick, 2020.
Let me just check. Is that correct, studio? It is correct.
Thank you.
I remember that as well. The family group chat was not a nice place to be when that was happening.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I remember the Jamie Vardy hat trick. What did you make of the game at Stamford Bridge, David?
Well, this is the thing. Had City done what I think people expected them to do when it went 4-3 up and won the game, then I'd be sitting here going, City absolute firm favourites to win the game against Liverpool. As a player,
there's a vulnerability at the end of the game.
Conceding at the end of the game, not being able to really process that, because the next day the rest of the team just disappeared on international duty. Only coming back this week to get together again and then somehow try and process the Chelsea game. There's a bit in it where you say, well, it was 2 weeks ago.
I think that's the hardest bit about the top level teams in terms of your City and Liverpool. Liverpool is a little bit different, but if you look at Man City, conceding 4 goals away at Chelsea, like David says, 2 hours after the game, the lads will be on private jets going away with the national team, and Pep probably wouldn't have seen some of them till yesterday morning.
Yeah.
So then he's having to digest for the last 2 weeks, how do I get it? And I understand analysts and WhatsApp groups and, you know, whatever they go to, whatever they have to try and get it through to the players. But the real focus probably wouldn't have happened till Thursday evening, Friday morning, getting everybody back together. So it's very difficult. He either parks it and leaves it and worries about Liverpool, or he's still mulling over it over 10 days. But the way Pep is, he's probably mulled over for the last 10 days, 2 weeks, and he said, listen, there was big problems there at the back end of the game for Man City.
As ex-players, and just because you mentioned it there, because of that result and that last-minute goal, I do feel, you know, the last season in particular when Haaland was firing, like, I kind of could feel that maybe opposition players would be like, how do we stop Haaland? You know, how can we stop City? Does the chat now change amongst the players going, well, we've seen there, maybe they're not as, you know, invincible or tough to beat as we think? No.
That fear is still there.
Yeah.
Because Haaland can score at any moment. He can win you the game at any moment. So there's a fear. He's a top world-class number 9. So there's no doubt, just because if Haaland doesn't score, or he has, you know, there's a little bit of doubt, you know, he's still there. He's still going to be a threat. He's going to be a threat for Van Dijk today, who's a top centre back. And that's what Liverpool will have to worry about. That if they create the right amount of chances and the opportunities, Haaland will be in that position to score the goals.
Absolutely. Steve, what did you make overall of the 4-4? Because it's not something we're used to seeing with City. As we say, I mean, the last time being that Leicester game, you know what it's like. The noise after it can usually go a little bit loud and we lose sight actually of where things are. I wanted to know, what was your assessment? And were you a bit panicked or not?
No, listen, I don't panic. I've watched City long enough in my life. I don't panic. I came out of the game, and first of all, I enjoyed it. You know, I came out and I absolutely enjoyed it. I give credit to Chelsea on the things I did. Yeah, it did show a vulnerability scoring. We conceded 4, but we also scored 4. We were minutes away from winning 4-3. Nobody talks about it. Then we move on. We've won 4-3. What a game. But talking about today's game here, and Haaland, Foden, you've got Alvarez, and Jeremy Doku. I think he adds another string to the bow. I think Liverpool will be looking at him and thinking, we can't give him too much space down that side. We can't do it. And especially at the Etihad, I think Pep likes to play Jeremy here. I think he's protected here, the fans and everything. And as soon as he gets the ball, this crowd lifts.
Agreed.
And I think today, he could have a big say.
He's a different type of player to Grealish, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think Grealish is a dribbler, he's a bit powerful, pace, Doku, and he'll be getting told, Pep will say, roll him the ball first time and get Trent Alexander.
Yeah.
First minute, get him as quick as you can, let's see what he's made of. Can he deal with his pace, can he deal with his power? And that's something that Man City will look at. But again, for Man City, I think that the 4-4 might actually reorganise them, sharpen the brain,
sometimes
thinking,
in the season,
you know, we need to step a wee bit back and be ready for this, because it's a great game and it's a big game to come back to.
I mean, stat-wise, but it's interesting the stats actually support possibly the feeling, the way the teams are. So Liverpool haven't kept a clean sheet away from home in the Premier League this season. So there's a bit where they go into the game, they don't want to, but they're kind of expecting to concede.
Yeah.
One of the really interesting stats is that City's first half at home games is where they score most of their goals.
Interesting.
And Liverpool's second half away games is where they score most of their goals in home and away fixtures. There's a bit where at half time City should be winning. But there's a bit where Liverpool are thinking, well, we're a second half team. And the likes of Doku or Jack Grealish will depend on how Pep sees his position in the game, depending on who starts.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the starting line.
Well, it's funny you say that, David, because we can see that now. Perfect segue. It's almost like we planned it before. Let's head down to FG Pitchside, who can bring us our starting 11. What's it saying for FG?
It's the 20th anniversary of Etihad Airways, and I am pitchside joined by members of the cabin crew to deliver the team news to you. The Manchester City starting 11 to face Liverpool. In goal is the ever-present Ederson. The captain is Kyle Walker. Manuel Akanji and Ruben Diaz and Nathan Ake make up the back four. Rodri, Bernardo, Phil Foden, a start for Jeremy Doku, Julian Alvarez, and our number 9 Erling Haaland starts today. The substitutes for Manchester City: Stefan Ortega, Scott Carson, Calvin Phillips, John Stones, great to see him back on the bench, Sergio Gomez, Josko Vardiol, Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis. Joining me pitchside, we swapped to the cabin crew actually with Michael Brown.
What a disappointment.
well,
sorry about that to the viewers.
Who knows? Well, maybe Brownie could get a go as the cabin crew one day. Who knows?
I'll have a go, won't we?
We'll never say no. Right, okay, let's talk about this City team. The big news, our number 9, Erling Haaland, starting today. Big game at the Etihad. You want your number 9 there, and we're so happy about it.
I was looking at people on the anticipation just walking into the Etihad, and then you finally get that message, don't you? You get the team news and you go, fantastic. Haaland leads the line. I think psychologically, FG, I think it's a really positive one. Liverpool as well going, oh, he's there. You understand the threat. 2 centre-backs that he's going to face, know that they're going to be in a game. And I think City could have coped with that squad even without Haaland, but it's great news that he's in.
It absolutely is. And also Nathan Ake back in the starting 11. Do you think that's to cope with Salah? He's very, very good one-on-one, Nathan Ake. He was sensational last year on 3 occasions, if I'm right, against Bukayo Saka. Mo Salah is the man in form.
Do you know what? Guardiola's done very, very well. It's fantastic that Pep has 2 options in that position as well. We've seen Rico Lewis do it also. But one-on-one, Nathan Ake, as you mentioned, wonderful against Saka. Mo Salah as well, he'll enjoy that challenge. And it's slightly different, isn't it? Because against Chelsea, for instance, you might have sent your full-back higher, joined in a little bit more. Against Liverpool, you might say, well, we'll stay at home a little bit more, understand that front three, be careful of that counter-attack, and Mo Salah is a special player, so you don't need to empty that space. So I think it's a really good matchup, looking forward to that one.
Now, we'll have the Liverpool team for you very soon, but Jeremy Doku starts, and I have a feeling whoever the fullback is might have a lot of hard work to do today, Brownie.
Well, all the talk is about Jeremy Doku at the moment, and rightly so. He's done incredibly well. Those assists, the way he drives, gets you off your seat, doesn't he? He's exciting, he drives down the outside, and then all of a sudden he's got that little trick. What's going to be fascinating, I think we've seen Phil Foden come up against Trent Alexander-Arnold quite a lot. Pep Guardiola's used that down that left-hand side, try to drive him down the outside to get crosses in or just to put him back, and he's been drifting into midfield positions like we've seen City do. So I think what's good today is Doku can have a go, then he can swap, and Phil Foden can get out there, and he'll really have something to think about. But that will really affect the flow of Liverpool. So really exciting at the top of the pitch for City.
It is very, very exciting. It's also exciting how Brownie will get on with his new career. So we're going to head off and go and find some cabin crew outfit for Brownie.
I've been training, they're waiting for me now.
We're going to head back to the studio. That was the Man City team news.
Thanks, FG. Thanks, Brownie. Yes, there it is, bottom of your screen. Our starting 11 for today's game against Liverpool, taking place on that pitch behind us at 12:30. Big Steve, I want to start with you and get your initial reaction to that starting 11.
Yeah, I think the dilemma this week was whether Grealish or Doku would start. Obviously, Grealish isn't in the squad, so maybe he's got an injury. Looking at that team, yeah, I'm happy with it. Nathan Ake at left back could have gone with Guardiola, but I think with Nathan, with the experience, it's going to be up against Mo Salah on that side probably. Bernardo Silva and Rodri. Obviously, Rodri, we know how important he is for Manchester City. When he doesn't play, we're a different team.
Yeah.
Foden on the right hand side. The big man Earl is shaking off the knock, so that's positive. So listen,
the knock, or he was scared to play against Scotland.
Well, he is that. I know what you Scots are like, but so I don't blame Big Earl for that. You know? But no, listen. From a Manchester City fan's point of view, I think we're quite happy with that team.
Charlie, from a tactical point of view, what do you think City's approach is going to be today? Because obviously it's a Liverpool team that we know in transitions are very, very quick. That sometimes is Manchester City's Achilles heel.
Yeah.
But also as well, they're coming into it with form. So I guess we can't be as gung-ho as maybe we might be usually.
No, but you will probably know that Man City will dominate the ball. So they'll have that, and that's what they'll be wary of, the transition that I say with Salah and not seeing Liverpool's team yet. So that forward area is what exposed if they do lopside that back four in terms of Walker goes and plays high and Foden comes and plays in the pocket, then it's where the Liverpool find spaces. It's obviously in that right back area where Kyle Walker is. Then it allows Akanji and Diaz exposed in wide areas, which is not ideal. Ake's, for me, is a terrific footballer. So there's plenty of organisation in front of that, you know, with Rodri and Bernardo Silva. So, well, listen, Man City they'll be respectful to Liverpool, but again, they'll be thinking it's more about us than what Liverpool are going to bring to the game, really.
David, for you, where are some of the key battlegrounds do you think today is going to be? Obviously, we mentioned there about maybe looking at the fullback, but us going forward as well from Charlie there. But I wonder for yourself as well, some of the matchups. Granted, we're going to bring you the Liverpool team news in just a sec, though.
Yeah, not knowing what the Liverpool team lineup is, it's slightly difficult. But I mean, I think the Erling Haaland one. I mean, his knock. Have you seen the injury that occurred?
Yeah, I did see. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he ran, finished the game off suggested he was always going to play. So I think he's going to be fully fit. So if he's up against Virgil van Dijk, as always. That is going to be an interesting battle. But what I love about Man City this season is Erling Haaland isn't recording the numbers that he had last season necessarily, even if he's still the best striker in the league, is that they don't need Erling Haaland to win the game of football. When you've got Alvarez there, you've got a serious goal threat. When you've got Doku in the form he's in, he's a serious assist threat. Rodri, as we love shooting from outside the box and scoring goals. So City's battleground will be anywhere as it normally is, because everyone can move around. Phil Foden, as anyone who watches this show knows, I love him.
Yeah.
He's going to have a massive impact. And Bernardo Silva, I mean, we're actually looking at a team that we can say that we love them all.
We love them all. Charlie, I wanted to get to speak to you, obviously, because position, you know, but we wax lyrical about him a lot, but Rodri. Just
special, you know, very, very special to do a job, a specific job in a team. You know, ultimately he's getting plaudits now because he scored a couple of goals in big moments for this club and history, but his overall general play in the team and what he does is unbelievable. You know, he's that consolidator in midfield that can allow Walker to go and play higher. I expect Man City to play with a bit of a boxing midfield today, try and overload that midfield of Liverpool's and use the running power you know, in there of Bernardo Silva, and maybe even Foden coming playing, you know, in a bit of a box in there. So it'll be interesting to see how they build up and how they want to try and penetrate with Liverpool, and that's where they'll get joy if they can get at the side of, I think it might be McAllister that could play in the six there for Liverpool, and get and playing in pockets at the other side of him, and attract centre backs out for runs of Haaland, because Haaland's movement for such a big guy is unbelievable. His speed, his awareness of when people actually come and play it in little pockets, and the runs that he makes are brilliant. So, you know, again, you're at home, you know, Man City will have a lot of the ball, and Liverpool will come here and try and make sure the ball goes wide and nothing comes through them.
Through the middle. Just another question, this is just personal, well, one for me. What I noticed after Rodri's first season, and Jolene's talked about it a bit before as well, is how you can't really seem to get the ball off Rodri. How does he go about doing that? Because he does just seem to, you can give it in wherever. And is that an awareness thing? Is it an intelligence thing?
It's
is
both.
It a technical thing?
Everything. You know, at Man City, you have to be technically very comfortable on the ball. He can control the game. He can pass it. He knows his next pass. And if I was a Calvin Phillips sat on the side, I'd be looking at him in terms of that's the level I have to get to, and learn from his experience and what Rodri does in the ball to get an opportunity. John Stones as well. You know, you see him when he comes into midfield, how comfortable he is on the ball. But Rodri just always seems to be in the right position, even for transitions. He's always there, and they play a lot through him to get on the ball. He's a good passer of the ball as well, and again he's scoring goals from midfield. So no, he's a complete player, and he's a top player, and you know, he's done really well for Man City.
I think there's an added value to this as well. And then again, looking at the line-up there, you're passing the ball to Bernardo Silva or Phil Foden, they're going to control it. Doesn't matter how bad theoretically the pass is, they're good enough to control it. And I think for a lot of midfielders, if you haven't got that quality to actually pass to, then you get found out, because a bad pass becomes a loss of possession. So he's in a good team.
It's an all right team. Quick one from you, Steve, before we get Liverpool team news, which I'm going to bring you next. We mentioned, obviously, conceding 4 goals at Stamford Bridge. I'm just looking at Ruben Dias, and we all know how much he hates conceding 1 goal. So how important do you think they will have made this week, being about trying to keep that clean sheet, arguably, though, against, you know, one of the most potent attacking threats behind us in the Premier League?
No, we know Ruben's a winner, and we know that would have hurt him. I think the Akanji stepping into midfield sometimes left us a little bit exposed when we lost the ball. We were losing the ball in stupid places, and it was stretching our back line a lot against Chelsea, and I think Chelsea sensed that. Today we've got to be sharp and aware. We've got to have that back four talking all the time, make sure, you know, they know where they are. I watch Ruben a lot with Akanji, and he does do a lot. I'm behind the goal, and I see Ruben always talking to him all the time through the game. And we just don't want a repeat of my heart can't take another 4 goals. You know what I mean? So
again, it's 2 different players. You know, Akanji stepping into midfield is different from John Stones stepping into midfield.
Exactly.
So It's when Akanji goes into that area, might feel a little bit uncomfortable in there. But John Stones, he feels natural in there because he can play there. So then it leaves spaces in other places for the problem. That's where Chelsea, penetrated really well and caused problems. So it's just Pep understanding and trying Akanji in there. It never really worked as well as he thought it might have worked. But again, you wouldn't expect him to change today, Pep. You might even see, Akanji playing in midfield at times again today. Yeah. Because they need to try and get overloads in the pitch at some point, and he has to find the best way of who can go in there and do that. So I just love these two teams playing each other because tactically, Pep's always got something up his sleeve to try and do something different. You know what Liverpool are going to do. They're going to come, they're going to really want to try and press the game. And the quality that they have as well can hurt you, but Pep always seems to have something tactically up his sleeve for the big games, and it's interesting.
It is, and we'll wait and see what that is. Right, let's take a pause here from the studio. We're going to head back pitchside. FG can now bring us Liverpool's starting 11.
Yes, welcome back to pitchside as we celebrate 20 years of Etihad Airways, and I'm back with the cabin crew. I've got the Liverpool team to read out for you. In goal is Alisson, and then it is Trent, Virgil van Dijk, Joel Matip, Tsimikas, Curtis Jones, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jota, Salah and Núñez. The substitutes are on the screen. As you can see, Michael Brown is not with me anymore, and we are joined by YouTuber, streamer, all-round good guy and Liverpool fan, Bateson87. Bateson, we've seen the Liverpool team. Any surprises looking at the side?
Seeing Jota, but I do know how important Jota is to the team. I would like to see Luis Diaz, but unfortunately he's not here. But I think Jota can do the work.
He is on the bench today, right? Yeah. Okay, but then let's move on and let's talk about the front line anyway. And we mentioned Jota briefly, but let's move on to Darwin Núñez now. Darwin Núñez, I can't really explain what I see as a supporter, but I see so much talent, right? Yeah. So much ability, but you just don't know what you're going to get with him.
But we like that. We love unpredictability. We love Captain Chaos. We don't know what he's going to do. Like with Salah, we know he's going to get it onto his left foot. He's going to put it in the back of the net. With Darwin, we have no idea, and I like that. Sometimes I don't like that, but hopefully today he just puts it in the back of the net.
And of course, Mo Salah, so important to the team.
Yeah.
So good for many years. He's up against Nathan Ake today. It'll be an interesting duel because Ake did so well against Bukayo Saka. Yeah. How do you see Mo doing here?
On the counter-attack, I think Mo's going to do wonderful, but if City let Liverpool attack them, build up in the midfield and do it slowly, I think Ake will have the better of the day. But if Liverpool sponge City's attack, counter, who knows? Hopefully we'll see one goal from Salah.
So are you hoping for a counter-attacking performance from Liverpool? Do you think they're not going to have as much as the ball? And do you think they'll relish the counter-attack?
I do. I think Liverpool do set up that way against City. We saw it at Anfield last year. You saw it personally, first-hand as well. We're pretty good at it. Looking at the midfield, though, it's not as defensive as I thought it would be. Because guess what? We don't have any defensive midfielders. But, ping that ball over the top, goal. I'll be sat with a smile on my face, I will.
Well, hopefully you won't be smiling too much today, but you were smiling at Anfield like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I remember a certain performance from a centre-half who amazingly got written off by a few people, Virgil van Dijk. He went up against Erling Haaland, who has been unstoppable, and he was fantastic. He was sensational. He's up against Haaland again today. How do you think he's going to get on?
He's going to do well, and the reason being he's got Joel next to him. Them two together are a disgusting defensive partnership, and one I'm really looking forward to seeing. He gets a lot of critics because of how good he was that season, but he's coming back to his best. But his biggest test today, Haaland.
Absolutely, Erling Haaland. And lastly, no Robertson. He's injured for a while. We wish him well, of course. Tsimikas is in the starting 11. How do you think he's going to do today?
I'm hoping he stays back. He's up against. I don't know who he's up against. He's going to be up against Doku. He's going to be up against someone else. I just hope going forward he's pretty good, but I want him to stay back today and let Trent do the work on the other side, But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting game. We both have flair players. Who knows?
Well, Bateson is going to head off to the Tunnel Club because he's watching the game there. How's the food in there, mate? You having a good time?
I had this sausage butty. It was absolutely unreal. Love my sausage, I do.
Well, there you go. Let's head back to the studio. That was a Liverpool lineup. Great for you to join us, Bateson. Thank you, mate.
Thanks so much. If you've just joined us, welcome along to Matchday Live with me, Kel Spellman. I'm with Big Steve, Charlie Adam and David James. Charlie, let me come to you first. We've just got the Liverpool starting 11 there. Were there any surprises there for you, and what did you make of that first team?
No surprises in terms of Núñez playing up front. I think he gives you an outlet in terms of, in transitions. You've got Núñez, you've got Salah, you've got Jota. Good speed there and quality. So let's say for the counter-attacks, Man City will have to be wary of that. But again, that Liverpool team at the moment is picking itself with the performances and the results. Obviously Andy Robertson's out injured, and the rest is picking itself. So yeah, it's now going to see what Liverpool do in the game. Speaking to David there, I don't think really Man City, Liverpool are going to come here and go gung-ho. They will look and try and defend and organise and wait for opportunities, but again, have to get grip of midfield. If you can get hold of midfield and get the ball off Man City and be able to try and build your way in the team, it gives you a chance. But if Man City have a lot of the ball, then it's very difficult.
Speaking of that midfield, obviously we've got Szoboszlai in there, who knows City well. He's faced us 4 times in the Champions League, but settled right into this Liverpool team. And obviously you've got him. I'm just wondering, Curtis Jones, big game for him today in a big part of the pitch, as well as Charlie said there, David.
Yeah, Szoboszlai. Yeah. I think there's 2 or 3 ways of pronouncing the name. I think he's become an instant fan favourite. I mean, the guy is a proper player. I mean, if he signed for City, I think that people would talk about him the same way. I mean, he's got everything about him. Can score goals from distance. The Curtis Jones angle is interesting because I think Curtis Jones is the best he's been from the beginning of the season when he's had his opportunities. He hasn't had a massive amount of opportunities this season, but what he's added to his game, I think, Charlie might agree, is that he started to tackle well. He's actually, rather than just being, when he first came in, the player with the flair and could score a nice goal, he's added the sort of the dirty stuff, getting involved. And you're talking about that midfield battle. Well, Dom Szoboszlai will get involved, and now Curtis Jones will get involved. So they've got 2 players there. McAllister, there's something about McAllister. I'm not sure if it's just that he doesn't have this sort of outgoing persona. He gets things done quite efficiently and quietly. Yeah. I'm not sure if he's the one who's going to be in there getting all the tackles. He gets booked a lot, we know that. But I just think with Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai in there, it's going to make City have to work to retain possession in midfield.
It'll be interesting to see what they do, if they go with a 2 and the 1 or they go 1 and 2. It's if I was Liverpool, I'd probably go with 2 and 1 and have Szoboszlai in front of Curtis Jones into McAllister.
Yeah.
But again, I think Curtis has been dripped in and out over the last couple of years, but this is the real time that he's done really well in the Euros for the 21s. I think Jurgen trusts him. He's got trust of the manager now.
Yes.
And that's why you see him regular. Okay, he was out suspended earlier in the season, but he comes straight back into the team. And Jurgen trusts him, he likes him, good energy within in the group, and he can handle the football. When you come to a place like this, you have to handle the ball and be able to keep the ball for a bit in spells, and Curtis can do that. And his performances over the season have been good, nothing flash, but been good, and he's making an impact on that team, so he's deserving his opportunity. But I keep going again, this is a tough test against top team.
Indeed. Steve, we were just saying just before we actually came on the show, there's the one name that I think puts fear in any opposition fan. It's Mohamed Salah.
Yeah.
And, this season again, I don't know what's happened, how I've missed it, why he's not in my fantasy football team, I do not know. But he's been delivering, and again, it's almost like he's just gone, all right, I'm back and I'm just going to carry on doing it. And the consistency he's done it over the years is quite amazing, really.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable player. I mean, he's had some great games against Manchester City, at Anfield and here at the Etihad. He's a danger. I think that's why we've gone with Nathan Ake on that left side, a little bit of experience from Nathan. We've seen Nathan play up against like Saka and people like that and come out on top. We've just got to make sure we're switched on all the time. They're going to be looking at spraying that ball to Salah at the earliest opportunity, stretching us out. We can trap it, bring it down, and then he's straight, direct, attacking from that side. But looking at the Liverpool team, we spoke about the midfield. I think the midfield battle is going to be key. I think Rodri and Bernardo have got to set a tempo in that middle of the park, which they're going to struggle to keep up with. I think the crowd's got a big part to play in it today. I think when this Etihad gets going early doors and we start to get behind the team, I think the team can raise it. Looking at Tsimikas as well on the left, Phil Foden. I'm looking at Foden to go at him every opportunity, give him the ball. And I'm getting excited now. It's getting the atmosphere's building, and I'm a bit nervous now.
we discussed
Charlie making me nervous.
I've never been to the Etihad. These, as a home fan, like I said, European champions, won the treble out. They're so nervous about the game.
I think
it's in the DNA.
Is the middle name for Manchester
City DNA.
It kind of is it. Charlie's well. I just wanted to. We obviously looking at them forward three and as well. We were saying as well. Actually, I think the Nunes and Salah link up has been key. In fact, there's a great stat here saying that I think the last 8 assists, all of 9 of Nunes' assists in this competition have come with Salah.
Yeah.
So that link up is working. And granted, I think people go, well, what about the goals for Nunes? But we know you've got to look at the bigger picture.
Oh yeah, listen, Salah's, he can be quiet in some part of the game, but he can produce a moment of magic, and that's what top players do. They turn up in the big moments. This is a big game, and a big game for Nunes as well, to go and challenge yourself against 2 top centre backs in Diaz and Akanji. So no, you know what you're going to get with Nunes, don't you? You're going to get running power, you're going to get hassled, he's going to run for everything, he's going to be a strength, he's going to hold it up as well for Liverpool. So it'll be a tough afternoon for the 2 centre-backs, but they've got to try and dominate him and not allow him to dominate them.
I'll tell you what's interesting, because Nunes and Haaland are the same age. But if you look at Nunes, you can see and I'm saying this as a slightly older person, but you can see the 22-year-old in him.
Yeah.
Where the emotional balance isn't quite. I think he's getting better, especially last season. I think that emotional up and down was probably his Achilles heel, whereas Erling Haaland was a mature man at the age of 22 and banging in goals for fun. Interesting about Salah, just for the City fans watching here who are worried, he's only scored in 1 away Premier League game this season.
Interesting.
And that was
Thanks for that, David.
2 goals.
Yeah. They always have.
You're not nervous now. 2 goals against Brighton. I mean, he's having a fantastic season. And what, again, if you're sort of like a neutral on this, is between Mo Salah and Erling Haaland, they basically scored in every other game at least.
Right.
So there's a chance one of them is going to score today.
At least. Well, let's hope it's the big man up front for City fans anyway, at least, David. Slight pause here in the studio. We saw Els is with us. She's been around the ground, dipping here, there and everywhere. And she's found an old, well, I say an old, he doesn't join us anymore, does he? But Big Meeks is with Els pitchside alongside none other than Jamie Carragher.
Right, let's start. Cara, we'll start with you. Okay, who scored Liverpool's first goal of the 22-23 season?
So that's this season. What year is it?
Season.
Oh, last season.
What year it was?
First game of the season. That was... Is that Nunes at Fulham?
That's correct. 2-2 at Fulham. Yeah. Right, 1-0. Micah, no pressure. Mm-hmm. It is 1-0. Micah, what?
You're looking at me.
I saw you look.
What want me to do?
Okay, right, I'm going to stand back here. Right, which club did Erling Haaland score his first hat-trick against for City?
That's easy.
Crystal Palace.
Correct, it's 1-1. Nerves. Right, Cara. And you can't look either. No. Right, okay. October 2022. Mo Salah scored the fastest ever Champions League hat-trick, but how quick was it? 4, 5 or 6 minutes? It's multiple choice.
I'll go. That was against Rangers away at Ibrox. Do I get half a point for that?
It's not on my sheet, that.
Here it is. I would say that was fastest Champions League. 4 minutes.
It's incorrect. It was actually 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Okay, so you could take the lead now, Micah. Okay. Right, City's 4-1 win over Liverpool at Anfield in the 2021 season was their first away win at Anfield.
Can I just say something? Does that count because there's no fans there?
Look at this. Look what we're doing.
Come on. Answer the question.
Right, okay. First away win at Anfield in the Premier League since 2003, but can you tell me who scored the winning goal on that day back in 2003?
Anelka, I know that one. Because, no, it's my question.
I know, I still got it.
That's it. Right, Micah gets the point. Actually, you were losing, that's why he's trying to call.
I know, yeah.
So,
I knew
actually...
on the stat the other week.
So this is a tiebreaker or to draw. Okay. Or actually, should we mix it up? Whoever gets this right just wins the whole thing.
I'll take a draw. No. I'll take a draw. I'm 2-1 up.
City will take a draw today.
Right, whoever gets this right wins the whole quiz. So you've got to shout out Cara or Micah first, right? Yeah. Ready? Mm-hmm. Who is the only player to have scored a hat-trick in a Premier League game between City and Liverpool?
Cara.
Right.
Foden.
It's actually incorrect, that. Micah, you could crawl it back.
Read the question
The
again.
only player to have scored a hat-trick in the Premier League between City and Liverpool. Just guess. Just guess.
Michael Owen.
It's correct.
The only quiz he's ever been on is on City TV. That's the only quiz to stitch up.
Michael Owen in 2002.
I was going to say Fowler. For some reason, I just said Owen and changed it last minute.
Wow, that is a good omen. Micah, you won,
So
which means City are going to win today.
3-1.
3-1.
I love that. 3-1 from Micah there. Hopefully a good omen. Right, let's talk about what you're seeing on your screen there. Well, we have a game called Mystery Blue. This first clue appeared just before we go live, so maybe some of you have seen it. If you've not, this is clue number 1. We give you 3 clues, and then at half time we'll be revealing who is the Mystery Blue, and you can get your guesses in to that WhatsApp number there. So clue number 1 is this. This Mystery Blue played for 7 different clubs in the Premier League, scoring 81 Premier League goals. Clue number 2 was this Mystery Blue has played with one of our guests today. Now, Steve, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I'm guessing it wasn't you he's played with, I don't think.
No, it wasn't me. No.
Not even 5-a-sides?
No, my football career was ended 22. Too vigorous in the tackle.
So, I mean, do you have an idea?
I know who it is.
Do you? Interesting. Okay, right. Well, we'll have a little discussion. Any guesses, Charlie? Do you think? Yeah, I mean, probably not. No.
I'll have a think though.
I've got someone in my head, but
I'm not too sure.
Okay, right. We'll bring you clue number 3 in just a little bit, but let's now go to FG. We've got some special guests joining us throughout the Etihad. It's getting busy out there as well as the stadium fills up. He's joined by fellow streamer worldwide Thogden.
Yes, thank you. Joining me pitchside is none other than internet sensation Thogden. Massive game. So we've got the big names here, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss the rivalries that you've been to and where City and Liverpool ranks. You've travelled the world watching football. There's a few that you've picked out as the rivalries. Let's start with Dortmund-Schalke.
Okay, yeah, that's an amazing match. I've watched it twice at Dortmund Stadium and at Schalke's ground. One thing about that, they absolutely hate each other, and it's so nearby on the map. It's as near as it can get in Germany. There's something special about the yellow wall. They always have a tifo display. Actually, something we've seen at City the last couple of years as well that they've adopted. That is going to be up there. I don't know how many games we're going to be ranking, but that is hard to beat.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the Milan derby.
Yes.
Obviously, they share the stadium.
They do. That makes it special.
It does indeed.
And there's always 2 tifos.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes split right down the middle with Inter and AC fans. That is, it makes it unique. You go to the San Siro, they haven't changed it for years, and yes, some people call it a little bit old and shabby. In my mind, it's football history.
Football history. Moving on to PSG Monaco as a rivalry.
You see, I've been to that game and I was disappointed.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed. And it's good from PSG, but there isn't enough of a weight allocation. And Monaco fans, they're not so loud. So that is the classic rivalry of France, but that's going to go probably last in the list.
Okay, last in the list. I'm pretty certain this one will not be last in the list.
Yes.
Red Star versus Partizan.
City fans, get ready for your Red Star trip away. Be careful.
Right, I'm going. What do you mean by be careful? Because I'm going with Matchday Live.
Oh my goodness me! You're in for an absolute treat.
Brilliant.
And if any City player sees this, they'll understand. The walk through the tunnel, you get there, you're above what they call the Delia. It's like the Red Star Ultras. They're bouncing. There's noise. The players are already intimidated. Then you walk up to the pitch. So not only is the stadium, the Maracana, iconic, but the tunnel is something else. That might have to go number 1.
Number 1. Well, there'll be a pocket of blue in Red Star, and I'll be with you guys, and hopefully you'll be keeping me safe, and I won't be intimidated. City Liverpool.
Yeah.
12:30.
Oh.
This rivalry is growing more and more.
It is.
People online like to call it City Pool. Talk to me about the City Pool rivalry, Thogden.
I think people give this derby a lot of stick online. But in my opinion, what I experienced at Anfield in the away end with City fans, my mate was like, come along, we're going to show you what the City fans are really like. What I experienced that day was something unique. It was a 2-2 draw, there was passion on either end, and there was a real hatred between the two. You feel that when you're there. I would not rank this anywhere near bottom. This is right up there. And today you're going to see that again. Of course, it's an early kickoff, and it would have been nicer if it was later on in the day. But once the players walk on that pitch, they've been thinking for 13 days without Premier League football. All they've had on their mind is this match and getting 3 points. And you'll see how this atmosphere builds today.
Well, it's great to have you here.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you taking your time out. You're going to enjoy the game. No doubt you'll be covering the game on your platforms as well.
Of course.
From FG and Thogden. We'll head back to the studio. But before we do, there's a certain Big Steve in the studio, and I know you might have a message for him.
Big Steve, I'm wearing your shirt right now. Terrace Colt, I love you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Let's go back to him in the studio.
Well, there we are. There we are, Big Steve.
Shameless plug for the clothing brand. Thank you.
Thanks to FG there as well with Thogden. Cracking stuff, gents. Charlie Adam is our very special guest on Matchday Live, and you can probably see we've just brought up on the screen there some of your career stats there. 207 Premier League apps, 34 Premier League goals, 33 Premier League assists, 5 trophies, one of course played for Liverpool as well, which I'll get to in a sec. But I've got here you started off your career with Rangers, but what many might not know, and I didn't even do my research, is actually there's a connection to Manchester City before you joined Rangers.
Yeah, I wasn't in the academy, but I used to come for school holidays and opportunities when I did. I used to come from Scotland and play in the academy teams at the weekends and things like that through the scout. John Ferguson, who used to bring us down. I loved it. Loved coming down, playing Platt Lane, and coming to Man City games and things like that. So obviously I had that small affinity with the football club, knowing a few of the players back in the day, like Glenn Whelan. Obviously I played with later on, and Willow Flood was the up and coming Irish kid when I was around it. So it was great times. I love coming down, and Manchester's always been I have some family, distant family through my grandmother who are Mancunians as well. So So Manchester is quite close to me in terms of family and things like that. So it's a great set. I love coming to it, and it's great to be here, and hopefully we can see a great game.
You then, of course, started to create a massive club like Rangers. I mean, Youngs, how was that for you earlier on in your career?
Amazing experience. At the time, I had the choice maybe to come here or to go to Rangers, and I picked Rangers. It was a huge club in Europe, and then obviously in Scotland it's one of the big two, and I got the opportunity to sign there, and I loved it. I was there 6 years as a academy player, and obviously playing in the first team. And then I seen that there wasn't the pathway or an opportunity that I was going to play as much as I wanted to, and I left the club. And sometimes you've got to take a step back in your career to move forward, and I had to do that at a young age, and I've done that. And really honoured to play for a club like Rangers, and like I say, the career I had, not until you retire, and David's the same, that you really think back on what you achieved and what you've done. And it's only in the last really month to 6 weeks I've actually thought about what I've done in my career in terms of the good times and some of the bad times as well, the experience I've had. It was a wonderful time, and coming into coaching now, it's something that hopefully I can bring into these younger players in the club that I'm at.
Reflecting on some of the good times and bad times, what are the standout good moments? Are there a couple of moments for you that you go, that is one of my proudest achievements? Because you have had such a lengthy kind of ranging career.
Listen, I was fortunate to be able to play for Blackpool and going to the Premier League, scoring that goal at Wembley. And then ultimately coming to getting the opportunity to come to Liverpool, I think it was a huge career moment for me. Special football club with great supporters and people, and to be able to pull on that jersey once, and I was fortunate enough to do it, I think 30 or 40 times, was incredible. And I look back with great memories. And I went to Stoke and played in the Premier League for over 200 games. It was a great achievement, and coming to stadiums like this and playing against the best players. Some of the players that I look back in the last 6 weeks with my son now, who's 6 and loves football, and is also a big Man City fan for some reason. Good lad. We started pulling out old jerseys and that in the last 4 or 5 weeks, and just explain what it is, and it's great to have these memories, and these are the big games you want to be involved in.
Of course. There's a quote here that when you talk about the achievements you've had, but it must have been pretty cool that Sir Alex Ferguson once said that your corners were worth 10 million alone.
Yeah. No, unfortunately for me, that Sir Alex is obviously somebody that I look at in coaching terms, and I'm one of these people that I'm really intrigued. I asked a lot of questions, and off my own back I wrote him an email about a year ago, and got an email back from his secretary to say that, you know, I would say I'd love to have a chat with him and love to meet him and things like that. And she said, yeah, no problem. So I went and spent 2 hours with him in his office.
Wow.
And he gave me his time for 2 hours. Took him an expensive bottle of wine, nice bottle of wine, and you know, I had 2 hours with him on my own in his office, just talking about from when he started in Aberdeen to the journey he had going to Manchester United, taking him to elite level, leaving, and just getting his mass experience of being a manager and a coach, because ultimately I want to be a manager one day, and I'm on that journey now. But to be able to speak to these great people and take small things from each individual gives you a great learning curve and an opportunity to sit with such an iconic person.
Yeah, incredible. Great for any, you know, people out there as well, as you're saying, taking little bits from everywhere you can learn. I want to get to you coaching, of course, because that's at Burnley with you know, our ex-City legend in Vincent Kompany. But you assisted in a game against us when you played for Blackpool, 3-2. And the reason that'll probably, with a love, I mean, that free kick there, dead balls, by the way, Charlie. I remember just used to love watching from any dead ball situation. But for City fans, this game is kind of synonymous because...
One moment, David Silva.
There you go, Big Steve. And he very announced himself. What was it like coming up against him? Do you remember coming up against him? Anything from that game?
Special talent. And I say Bernardo Silva's the exact same.
Yes.
Just the way they move, manipulate the ball, and unfortunately don't have the goal, but he actually cuts past 3 or 4 players in this game, and he bends one round me into the far corner. And he was just an unbelievable player that technically was very good.
Here we go.
There it is. Here, look, out the way. This is me on the line. Never turn your back in the box, or that can happen to you. But this was his first game for Manchester City.
Yeah.
And again, in that era of, you know, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Yaya Toure, Nigel de Jong, Gareth Barry, all incredible footballers that, you know, to come up against them was a real honour. And you know, he speaks for himself, David Silva, and what he produced at this football club.
Yeah, El Mago, the magician, best player I've seen in the City shirt, for sure. Then, actually, quickly before again, then also you played under former Blues boss Mark Hughes as well at Stoke. What was your relationship with Mark?
Brilliant. Probably the best relationship I had with a manager.
Really?
Yeah, just honest, really experienced in terms of how he looked after the senior players. Coached well, you know, with Matt Bowen and Eddie Niedzwicki, who were also here with him at Manchester City as well, and it was just a great learning curve for us to be able to use him and his experience as a manager, but also as a player. He was a top player.
Another one of those managers I guess you've been able to take bits from as well for your own coach and managerial career, which you are now doing over at Burnley, so working with the under-21s. First of all, how is that going for you?
Brilliant, great role. I was fortunate enough, so I look after under-21s and loan players as well, who we have out in different clubs, and I have a day-to-day relationship in terms with the manager, who obviously is Manchester City legend and Vincent Kompany, and Craig Bellamy's there as well. So I'm in the office quite a bit, and I speak to them, and I'm trying to take so many ideas. But you know, Vinny's, I just see a man that's well driven. You know, as a player here and as a captain, he always carried himself extremely well. And his experience is here for a long time. You know, he took the club to a different level in terms of his playing style, but also now as a manager, I could see what he brings to the team and what he brings to our football club.
There's a quote, I was chatting to Jolene about it, and Jolene's spoken to him quite a bit, and he said that when he was playing, Vincent always said, you know, I kind of want to be a manager. And then he started that journey, and apparently Vinny said to Jolene, he said, I'm going to be a better manager than I was player.
Yeah.
Can you see that in him?
Absolutely.
Charlie?
But and the manager, I'll let you into a bit of a secret, that in the last week or so, 2 weeks ago I think it was, he actually sat the players down and said, listen lads, it's a journey of the season. Yeah, you see me lifting these trophies, but the early part of that season I never really played, but I was always in the gym well, I was always, you know, getting rehab, I was always preparing well for that moment. And at the moment he was the one that lifted that trophy, but he had some journeys during difficult times during the seasons where it wasn't right for him, but he kept at it, he was professional, and he had great opportunities, and you just see it now, the way he carries himself, the way he organises the team, he has a personality, and I think he's a manager that's going right to the top.
That's great to hear. Well, listen, Chai, we also, of course, wish you luck as well with the under-21s and your good coaching throughout, and really great to get that insight there.
Thanks
you,
for having me.
Right, let's go back down to FG pitchside. He's joined by Sam Matterface.
Yes, thank you, Kel. Joining me pitchside is none other than the legend himself, Sam Matterface. Sam, thank you for joining us on Matchday Live.
Thanks for having me.
A big game today, City Liverpool. Let's start with the two managers. Now, a lot of people have spoken about Pep and Klopp and their style of play. They don't usually change their style of play, even in games like this.
No, I thought it was really interesting yesterday, though, that Jurgen Klopp was saying that actually quite enjoys the challenge of producing a team that has to be without the ball more often than they're used to. You know, Manchester City aren't going to give up the ball. They're going to try and keep it as they usually do. They've actually had less possession, I think, this season than maybe they have done in the past, but they're still averaging it well over 60% in every single game. And Jurgen Klopp's team are going to have to adapt to that. And I think he says he relishes the idea of it, trying to pinch it in different areas. It's going to be tight, but, you know, I think it's one of those games which I think even those who are participating in it look forward to, because it's a proper test, it's a real heavyweight encounter, and these two are the best. You know, they've been the best for a long time now. I know Liverpool had their dip last year, but if you look at it over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, these two have been the biggest rivals in English football.
You took the question right out of my question list. Right, okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Szoboszlai, the new summer signing for Liverpool. He's impressed very, very much. He looks like a real good fit for them. But it's games like this, isn't it, Sam, where you make your name, and he'll be relishing the opportunity to play here, won't he?
Absolutely. Yeah, if he's recovered from that shot he did after the Hungarian team qualified for the European Championships, he's been in great form. His creativity numbers are through the roof. I think not since Philippe Coutinho was in his pomp at Liverpool has one player created so many chances on average per game for Liverpool than Dominik Szoboszlai. Sometimes it's very difficult to come into the Premier League, and it's really hard to hit the ground running. We've seen that on a number of occasions. Obviously, Jeremy Doku didn't get that memo, but everybody else, you know, there's a lot of players that don't fit in as seamlessly as Doku and as Szoboszlai, who has actually made a really big impact on Liverpool. They needed to change that midfield. That was their problem last season. They invested in that heavily over the course of the summer, and it's worked for them so far. You know, I spoke to Jurgen Klopp at the beginning of the campaign, and he said, I'm not sure what we can achieve. I'm pleased with what I've seen so far. It's got better and better and better. I think, you know, bearing in mind they weren't at their very best at the beginning of the season, but yet still were putting numbers on the board, and they're still doing so now, shows that they're in a good vein.
Do you think they're going to strengthen in January as well? Do you think they're potentially holding midfielder short? There's been a lot of talk that they potentially need a bit more reinforcement in midfield, but they haven't actually got the European. They've got the Thursday nights, but they don't really play the big names at the minute there. I mean, they could really focus on this league, couldn't they?
I think I'd be surprised if they spent too much more in January, on the basis that they spent loads of money in the summer on midfielders. So I'd be surprised if they ended up going to acquire anybody else. I think they just let these guys now bed in and find their way. I think, you know, they'll be fine.
Of course, we have to talk to you as a man who watches England very closely. You might have heard this man's commentary throughout the years on the England team. A young man who made his debut for England, Rico Lewis. Man of the match performance, gave away a penalty that was, well, in my opinion, not a penalty. I don't know if you agree, but
no chance it would have been. It was a penalty.
Well, I'm glad that we're in agreement anyway. But Rico, I mean, he's a star, isn't he?
Listen, I'm actually a little bit surprised that it's taken this long for him to get his debut, and that's not a criticism of Gareth in any way, shape or form, just because of the fact that I think anybody who plays at the level that he has been playing at for Manchester City deserves the opportunity to play for England. Listen, he's always been on the radar. They know that they were going to bring him in at some stage. There's no doubt about it. I've spoken to them about it. They've been well aware of his talent. They didn't take him to the European under-21s in the summer because they wanted to just, you know, keep his game minutes at the right level. They've all been very, I think, coordinated, I think, in the way they've sort of dealt with his development. But he's a terrific player. He's a player that actually, I remember Lucy Ward, I was working with her, and she came out with this brilliant phrase about him, that he was press resistant. And I thought, that is just the perfect description of this fella, because he can take the ball in tight areas, he distributes it well, he never looks as if he's under too much pressure. He deals with it so brilliantly, he takes responsibility on the football field. And the way he moves in from those different positions, from right back or left back into midfield. Remember, this is a guy who, for the majority of the time that we've seen him at Manchester City, has been playing on the right side or coming into midfield, and made his England debut at left back. You know, that's a, you know, he's a supreme footballer. He's going to be a great talent. I hope we give him the time and space to develop, and we don't rush him too much, although it's very tempting to get him into that European Championship squad prior to the summer, because what a major asset he is. So, look, I think I'd take him. I'd put him on the plane. I'd definitely utilise him, because I think he's going to be one of the best. What a fantastic squad England have got. But, you know, a lot of them have come through the Manchester City Academy, haven't they?
Well, before we head back really quickly, let's get your score predictions on the game today.
Listen, I think it's going to be tight. I think if you had to pick a winner, because Manchester City don't draw games, do they, really very often, you'd pick Manchester City on the basis they've won 23 of the 23 games they've played at home in all competitions in this stadium this season. However, this calendar year. However, I do think, you know, Liverpool are their closest challengers. I'm going to sit on the fence, splinters. I'm going to go draw 2-2.
It's a safe bet. Well, Sam, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us on Match Live. You're welcome anytime. Let's head back to the studio. I understand there is a Charlie Adam in the studio. I want to know, would Rico Lewis be a good teammate for you? Would you enjoy playing with him?
Thanks, FG, and thanks to Sam Matterface there.
Sam Bugsy Malone.
By the way, me and you might need to get that hair transplant that he got.
Yeah, unbelievable, yeah. Get us booked in for that.
The beauty of that, isn't it?
Tell you what, I think he had the same guy as David Silva had, because that was another belter as well, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
If you've just tuned in, we have got 13 minutes till our Premier League tie against Liverpool. It is flown by. Before we get some final thoughts from our panel, we're going to take a quick look at some of the iconic clashes we've had against Liverpool, beginning with this Boxing Day fixture in 2013 here at the Etihad Stadium. Pellegrini versus Brendan Rodgers. It was the first of the clash in that season, and I think we can have a little quick look at it now. It began with Coutinho putting them 1-0 ahead with a penalty, and then City coming back and winning 2-1 with a Company and Negredo goal. Would always score in those big games, Steve.
Negredo, brilliant. Vincent as well, always turning up. Yeah, great at him.
Who's that on the line?
This goal. Is this the one?
That ball.
Watch this. Outside of the boot.
Oh, keeper there.
If I remember right, it was really windy that day.
The spin. I think the spin got him.
Really windy.
Are you asking questions of the keeper there, David?
Really, really windy. I mean, the thing that fans don't appreciate is how windy. Look, you watch. Yeah.
Tell you what, I think Negredo as well, man. That
outside of the boot. Watch.
Stop it.
Spin on the ball. Look, done him. Fantastic.
Steve, I like you. Really, yeah. I'm blaming the wind and you're blaming the ball.
We won that one 2-1. We lost the reverse fixture at Anfield, shock, but that year we won the title by 2 points. Next up, we're looking at this one, Pep versus Klopp. A big win here at the Etihad Stadium for City. It was a 5-0 win with goals from Jesus, 2 from him and 2 from Sané as well. This was when, of course, we went on to win 100 points. Liverpool again pushing us, Charlie, but it was this season as well, the goals and getting the 100 points. It was amazing.
Oh, it's a special team, and 100 points in the Premier League is an incredible achievement. And again, deflection. And that season again, you know, deflection, but you need them. And again, about De Bruyne, I'm looking forward to him coming back. I hope that the breaks probably helped him a little bit in terms of physically for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a big injury and you never know how you're going to come back from that injury. But, you know, a fit Kevin De Bruyne at the back end of the season, it's not a bad player to come back from Manchester City, is it?
No, not at all. We'll all take that. We're all chomping at the bit for that to happen very soon as well. Wishing him that speedy recovery. Remember as well in that game, it was the Mané sending off, wasn't it? That kind of changed everything in that game, didn't it, Steve?
Yeah, I think when he clashed with Edison.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was quite early on with Edison being here as well, wasn't it? And he was kind of going, wow, this guy's going to run through brick walls for us.
Well, I did some homework on Edison before he signed for City, or just after he signed for City, and he played for Benfica. And the first thing I noticed was he dived head first, essentially, at someone's feet. So when this happened, it was like he's the only goalie in the Premier League who would go for this ball. Yes, it's a foul, but any other goalkeeper would have shied out of that, and it just reinforced this. I mean, you got a bit. Wow.
Cheeky that. Yeah. And then, I mean, I have this. I hope not, but this game could possibly play out a little bit like this one at the Etihad in 2022. 2-2 draw. It was when there was 1 point separating City and Liverpool. And Charlie, in those games when it is so close, even like this, For players, you must give you just maybe a little bit of something else extra on the day.
Yeah, but also as well, you think one mistake can cost you.
Yeah.
And I think today's going to be 2-2 as well. I think it's going to be a cracker. I think these are the two great teams at the moment. Have been good form in terms of what they've got, and it was a great game, and the quality in terms of the player, Jesus there scoring the goal, and 1 point, and let's say at that moment there's everything to play for, and again 1 point in it today. Liverpool win today, they go top of the league, so there's a lot of psychology in today for Liverpool. If they can win today, then it gives them an opportunity to go top of the league, and the first time they've been there for a while as well, so that'll be good for them.
I guess it's important for players, Charlie, you have to kind of almost block all that out. Maybe you've had that little bits of chats in the build-up to the week, but then when it comes to when you're in the changing room, just focus on the game in front of you.
Yeah, you don't worry about the top of the league at the moment. It's about just winning what's in front of you, trying to put the plan together of what Jurgen's trying to do, and the game will take care of itself. There's top players on both sides, but again, you're just thinking of, if a mistake might cost us the game or whatever, but these are two top teams, two top managers going at it, and let's say, there's not many times that there'll be a big difference in terms of goals. One goal here or there today could be the difference.
We're going to get predictions in just a second, but a couple of final thoughts then from yourself, Steve, as well. How are the nerves, first and foremost, and second of all, what is it that you'd like to see City go out and do when they come out of the tunnel?
I just think my nerves are all right now. The game's going to kick off soon, so I'm happy. But I just want City to start the tempo fast, get the crowd on their side early doors, dictate the play, death by 1,000 passes, I call it. Pass and move, keep them going, and look to get Jeremy on the ball early doors, and look to get Phil Foden up against Simicast, and I'll be happy then.
Yeah, lovely stuff. David, what about for yourself as well? I mean, obviously from the Liverpool point of view as well, that Salah coming into it in great form, as we know as well, that link up with Núñez. Van Dijk as well really is kind of coming to his own a little bit this season. So the battle's all over, I think, just set it up to be what we know he's always going to cracker of a game.
Yeah, I mean, we can only base what we think is going to happen on what's happened. And one thing that has happened is City have always scored the first goal this season in the Premier League at home. Liverpool have conceded in every away game. So there's a bit where even City going 1-0 up doesn't mean that the game's finished. I think it's I don't like the cliche, but the second goal is more important than the first goal in this one. Because I don't, like Charlie said, I don't think it's going to be a 1-0.
Yeah.
There are going to be multiple goals. So, loads and loads of battles. I just want to see the two best teams playing the best football.
Yeah.
And if it's decided by a misfortune by one player, it is. But I'd like to see it decided by a bit of brilliance. And everyone's just entertained, because this is why the Premier League's the best league. This is why these two are the best two teams in the Premier League. The one thing I've got to quickly say is, with the other fixtures in the Premier League this weekend, everyone's got tough fixtures. Aston Villa versus Tottenham. So even the losers today, by the end of the weekend, might be saying, actually, as much as we've dropped 3 points, we haven't lost any ground.
Yeah. Well, we'll take that then. Well, listen, there we are. Players are in the tunnel, which does mean the only thing we have to do now is get predictions from our guests. And remember, we'll be back at half-time to talk about the first half action, also bringing that third clue for Mystery Blue, and then we'll be back at full-time as well. Now, Charlie, I'm actually going to begin with you, because I think you mentioned your theirs before. What's your score prediction?
I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2?
Yeah, I'm going to go Mo Salah is going to score the 2 goals.
2 goals, a little brace.
Inviting guests on to sit on the fence.
Listen, Charlie's allowed, David, all right? Charlie's a special guest today. Big Steve.
2-0. City.
Come on. The clean
Erling
sheet.
Haaland today, make the difference.
Love that. Gutted I've taken him off captaincy on the fantasy football. Brilliant. And David Farber.
0-0. I'm going to go 3-2.
3-2. 3-2.
One way or the other.
All right, gents. Well, listen, players are in the tunnel. Massive thank you to Charlie Adam for our very special guest today. Of course, to Big Steve as well. Belting to be on the show with you as always. And David James. Players are heading out, which means I'm going to hand over to Alistair Mann on commentary. And I'll see you at half-time. Come on, City.
Thank you, Kel. Not a bad way to restart Premier League action after the international break. The good news is it's the last international break until March. It's all about Manchester City. It's all about the domestic scene, and it's officially a meeting of the best two sides in England.